All sins are like debt that must be paid. Why can't God forgive? I've had a lot of conversations with people when they acknowledge, like, yeah, I know something's wrong with the world. I know there's sin and the pain and the suffering. I know that humans don't live the way they should, the way they ought. But why does Jesus have to die? Why couldn't Jesus just show us how to be a good person? Why couldn't Jesus just sort of say, you know what, I know things aren't good, but let me show you the way? Why does Jesus have to die? And the answer is because there had to be a debt paid. And the Bible tells us that Jesus pays the debt for our sins on the cross out of love. It tells us that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Jesus alone can pay that debt. Only Jesus alone can pay the debt of that sin. And Jesus is God who paid that debt on the cross in order to forgive us of our sin. And so it's described like this in the book of Colossians. It says, when you were stuck in your old sin-dead life, you were incapable of responding to God. God brought you alive right along with Christ. Think of it. All sins forgiven, the slate wiped clean, that old arrest warrant, that old debt that you owed, canceled and nailed to Christ's cross. That is the good news of what Christ has accomplished through the cross. And so that is really why the cross is central to our worship then as the church. Because as gruesome and horrible and offensive and disgusting the cross is, it's by the cross that we find forgiveness. And there's no other way. And so how do we respond to this then? The first thing we need to do in response to this is simply to come under this idea that forgiveness is a gift to us, a gift to be received, a gift that comes simply because of who Jesus is and what he has done. And if you're in this room and you have that image of a burden on your back of shame and guilt and sorrow, know that Christ wants to free you from that, to restore you from that, and offer you freedom. Our next response is this, and this is where things get hard and challenging. Forgiven people forgive. C.S. Lewis, the writer, he wrote this.